I'm the Game Master Echelon. We're here in the country of Lantanas, where you can watch your favorite fighters compete in my game, Rogue Labyrinth.
Some roguelites throw you into chaos right away, and Rogue Labyrinth makes that chaos fun to ride out. In this game, you play as Iris Thornwood, contestant in a flashy game show created by Echelon, an entrepreneur who built the labyrinth at the base of the Great Tree in Erenga. The prize for winning is becoming the monarch of Lantanas, effectively gaining control of the world's most valuable resource, the resin. The combat loop is fast, fluid, and designed for spectacle. Every move connects cleanly, every dodge has weight, and the chaos builds quick. The screen does get busy, but your projectiles are highlighted blue, while enemy projectiles glow red and their attacks are clearly telegraphed. Even when the arena fills with hazards, you still know what's going on. It looks wild, but it stays readable for the most part. Then the synergies start stacking. Early on, a dash is just movement. Later, that same dash is dropping shockwaves or scattering typhoons or bouncing bolts across the room. By the late game, the screen looks like a pinball machine and you're the one racking up the score. It's the classic roguelite snowball where a small kit mutates into something so absurd and it feels great every time. Runs unfold across a tiled labyrinth in a hex grid. Going diagonally usually nets you more rewards, so planning your route feels like the optimal way to play. Do you sprint for the boss or take the longer path to stack upgrades? Early on, this won't be a problem, but in late game, where mage rot resistance consistently drops, you might need to skip a few tiles. Now, beneath all the chaos is a pile of mechanics that all push you forward. The hype meter functions as your combo gauge. Play aggressive and it climbs, multiplying the fame you earn. The more fame you have translates into E-credits and more blessing choices after each room. Take hits or stop attacking, and the hype drops. Each run completed raises your rank, which effectively raises the hype capacity, allowing you to earn even better rewards. Now, the mage run mechanic adds risk. Artifacts are powerful modifiers, but each one eats away at your mage rot resistance. You start each run at 100 resistance, drop below 0, and your max health starts to shrink. This won't be a problem at the start, but it will be a huge factor in your runs in the later acts. Blessings are going to be your bread and butter between rooms. They add raw stats or augments like generating damaging waves or wind on charge attacks or lead projectile deflectors on dash. The revenge blessings that only trigger when you get hit never felt worth taking, but the rest fit nicely into the synergy loop. There are also multiple currencies in the game. E-credits pay for vending machines and minigames. Bucks are used at the buy bot and vending machines in the temple for permanent upgrades. Resin expands your orb stats and unlocks weapons. Fujio coins fund big labyrinth upgrades or open rare chests. On paper it's a lot, but in practice it all feeds into steady progress. And then you've got gambits. These are double-edged upgrades, like more defense but double the mana cost type of upgrades. They are powerful and they make you commit to a build early on. Take the wrong one and it may come back to bite you if you're not careful. One of the best surprises in Rogue Labyrinth are the dual rooms. Step into one and you're matched against another contestant, nimble rivals with flashy designs and tricky attack patterns. They're not the final bosses of each act, but they're some of the most fun fights in the game. Beat them, and you walk away with their abilities and artifacts, which feel like a proper prize. And then there's Rex. He charges in, drops dead in seconds, and leaves nothing behind. He's the joke of the roster. Everyone else brings creative attacks, while Rex just kind of doesn't. Fighting him is so anticlimactic, it ends up being hilarious. The act finales are where the monster bosses show up. They're just as well designed. Each one comes with unique attack patterns and arenas that fit their theme perfectly. A frog riding around in a car, a sea dragon that dominates the water stage, or a nightly bird swooping across the arena. Every fight feels distinct. The bosses lean into spectacle, but they're more than just flashy. The stage design ties directly into how you handle their moves, making them memorable showdowns. Outside the labyrinth, you can talk to your fellow contestants, raise bonds with meal tickets, and unlock rare quests that buff your runs. These function as side quests during runs that when completed gives very powerful modifiers. And of course, the more you invest in relationships, the more backstory you uncover. It gives the whole game show setting a sense of community instead of just a parade of faceless opponents. Completing a run raises your character's rank, which in turn increases the number of acts available per run. Each act shifts to a new biome tied to a different nation with new enemies and style. The variety isn't massive, but it's enough to keep things fresh. Secret rooms mix it up even further. Knock down a crumbling wall, and you might find a healing fountain, a vending machine, a cursed rose, or an NPC handing out boons. These are welcome bonuses since they don't use up a map movement. They're always helpful and can save your runs in worst case scenarios. With that said, Rogue Labyrinth leans more into the story in a way most roguelites don't. Runs aren't just about clearing rooms, they are chapters in a career mode where the dialogue, the rivalries, and the setting all push toward a finale. Every duel with a contestant adds character, every boss fight feels like a part of a bigger spectacle, and between acts, the narrative keeps threading it all together. The chaos of combat is always front and center, and yet it never drowns out the sense that you're moving through a larger tale. It's compact, finishing in just a handful of hours, but it's packed with energy, personality, and style. The spectacle of projectiles filling the screen, the humor of rivals like Rex, and the weight of Iris chasing the blessing of Naranga all combine into something memorable. Rogue Labyrinth doesn't try to outdo the biggest roguelites, it carves its own space by fusing frantic action and a story that actually carries you through to the end. If you're into action roguelites and love watching the screen light up with mayhem, this one's worth a spin. Drop your favorite roguelite in the comments and tell me if this one's going on your list.